Hello, I'm Fred Bear. I spent most of my life in the outdoors, pretty much with a bow and arrow. You'd be surprised how much craftsmanship, hand craftsmanship, and good old-fashioned know-how go into the making of bows and arrows. Our plant's just a short ways through the woods here. Come on along and we'll show you how we do it. We make many kinds of bows. Some of them are the finest hunting bows in the world. Some are made for field shooting. Some are made for target shooting. This is the bow that we'll follow through the plant. We call it the Kodiak Magnum. The area between my hands is known as the handle section. This is the grip where you place your hand, a sight window to give you a better view of the target. The arrow lays on the arrow rest. The limb continues out to the end where we have the nocks that receive the string. The limb, the bending part of the bow, is made up of laminates. In the center, there are 2 pieces of maple, and on each side, a layer of fiberglass. Let's start from scratch and make this bow. We'll begin with wood. Good wood, mostly hard rock maple. And we're fussy about selecting and marking it for cutting. That takes a knack because we look first for the long, clear sections that will make the limbs of various sizes. Then for the handle wood, which can be in shorter pieces. It is passed over a jointer to make one very accurate flat side to work from. Then we plane it to what becomes the working width of the stock for the bow limbs, or the working thickness of the stock for handles. Now, think about handles. First, we draw the very rough outline. We saw it out, and we give those rough handle shapes our own treatment that we call future wood. This chemically impregnates them and makes them harder and much stronger. Their color fools you a little, because after they've been treated, the outside all look black, but not for long. The handle of the Kodiak Magnum has a decorative and strengthening inlay of fiberglass, which we glue and clamp and cure. After sanding one side for an accurate surface, we plane the other to make it precise. We work in wood with about the same accuracy a machine shop works in metal. So we draw the shape again and cut it once more. A positioning hole is drilled in the rough handle. This is a locator hole to spot it precisely on a guide template. This is the template for the Kodiak Magnum handle, which will guide it through a shaper for stock removal, then through a precision sander that actually completes the profile of the rough handle and feathers the ends where the limb sections take off. A duplicating machine is used to rough shape the grip part of the handle. The machine is loaded with 3 handles, and the shape is determined by a master pattern. This one is for the Kodiak Magnum. Guided by the pattern, milling blades cut off the excess wood and establish a handle shape for the master finishers to complete. Now let's talk about the limb stock. Here it's big, wide planks. But remember, they were planed to the right working thickness to become the width of the limb stock. So we make strips out of them on this automatic bandsaw, different rough thicknesses for different bows. Later, we'll machine them down within tolerances that will surprise you to make bows of different draw weights. First, we sand one side of the core stock to make it true. We do the same thing for the fiberglass layers of the limbs. Then we sand the second side of the wood core strips with deadly accuracy, giving them a taper, so they'll be thinner at the tip end, and mark them with their thickness. These are 55 thousandths at the gauge point, and 35 thousandths at the tip. The eventual draw weight of the bow and smooth bending of the limbs depends upon this accuracy. Our tolerance is plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. The thickness of the limb cores of wood and fiberglass determine the weight required in pounds to draw the bow to the length of the arrow. The Kodiak Magnum with a 48-pound draw requires 2 cores, one of 55 thousandths and one of 60 thousandths, and a face and back of 45 thousandths thick glass. We laminate with the best heat-curing epoxy, putting it on the limbs with a mechanical applicator and brushing it into the handle section. Then we assemble it into one big sandwich and take it to the Kodiak Magnum bow press for a 1-hour cure. The jaws of the bow presses are different sizes and shapes for different bows. The heat and pressure of the press bond the parts of the sandwich into one solid, durable piece and give the bow its permanent shape. According to a guide on the press, we mark the ends for cutoff. After we sand the excess glue from the sides, we cut the limbs to length. Then we glue on additional fiberglass reinforcing tips where the string nocks will eventually go and clamp the tips for another hour of heat and pressure. The Kodiak has a tough but decorative fiberglass cap on the back of the handle. So we sand the back and glue on 3 layers of glass. And once again, we go to press, a cap press. Now we'll begin to give the bow its finished shape. First, routing the sight window for the handle. Then, on this special contour sander, roughing in the main lines that the archer sees when he shoots. A template for the Kodiak Magnum guides the sanders that carve the ins and outs. We have different sander templates for every style, and we have different templates for every size bow we make. Judgment, experience, and great craftsmanship become even more important now. No machine guidance here, but a feel for what really is the shape of a handle and a knack for making it happen. It takes a good eye and a good touch to give smoothness to all the curves of the handle section. We smooth up the shape on a vertical belt sander. Then check and adjust the bow's alignment, shifting these steel lineup blocks so that the string is centered. Then, and this takes a good eye and good judgment, tapering the tips of the limbs precisely to the position of the blocks. We locate the string nocks at the tip of each limb. This operation we call tillering. We string the bow and measure the distance from string to bow below the handle, then above the handle to balance the limbs. Again, judgment and experience tell us how much to sand the stronger limb until both bend precisely as they should. The last work on the bow tips is all done by hand, smoothing the reinforcing tip, filing to rough shape, sanding every part of it, and especially the nocks. Same for the handle area. Now all by hand, exploring for roughness and polishing. Each handle taking a lot of time. Then the final inspection and weighing. This is the critical last look before the finish is applied. And here's where we measure the draw weight that will be marked on the bow itself. 46 pounds exactly. That's the number that is registered, and it accompanies the bow hereafter. After we have filed the groove where the bowstring will lay on the face of the limbs, we wash the bow to remove any dust that remains. Then we spray it with the first coat of varnish. And again we sand and feel and sand again and look and touch, and then again we sand until they're perfect. The serial number and the draw weight is marked on each bow. And we silk screen the labels and identification. Then comes the final varnish. And when the finish is dry, we wet sand it with paper so fine you could write on it. And finally, we wax it. A tough, bright surface that will last. That's it. But before a bow is packaged or shipped, we re-inspect it once more. We recheck the alignment and take a last look at our favorite product. By now, we know it's just right. That's how we make the Kodiak Magnum.